This will be a film study where I focus on the Ravens' second quarter meltdown offensively. To be honest with you, I watched the defensive film for about 10 minutes and had to turn it off, and it's when I made up my mind to produce something like this first. To the film a little bit later on Monday, and I will tell you, it's kind of shocking the amount of things that are going wrong on defense, first of all, but on offense as well in that second quarter. I'm going to try to break down some of the reasons for the Ravens having a 7-3 lead, a 7-6 lead, and then having the football down 13-7, but apparently acting like we're down 14 points or even 21 in the fourth quarter. Very, very reminiscent of that early fourth quarter drive against the Lions last week when we're only down 7, 31-24. But Todd Monken has us out there in formations and personnel groups that make it look like we're down 10 or 14 points in a 2-minute drill. Very unusual the way that the Ravens offense kind of panics. And I'm going to talk about the offensive line, some of the pass pro stuff, and Lamar's decision-making. So let's get to it. We'll pick up with the second possession where the Ravens are on 3rd and 11. This is, of course, going to be Lamar's scramble where he, maybe he gets the first down, maybe he does not. The refs rule that he does. So this is one of the looks that the Chiefs gave, heavy pressure look, and trying to vary on our offensive line, who was blitzing and who was dropping out. And I think it's pretty obvious, it should be obvious to everyone at this point, that the Chiefs, the Lions teams are going to keep doing this because our offensive line can't handle it. They flatly put, the offensive line for the Ravens is a huge problem. Lamar's decision-making yesterday wasn't good either, but I think it starts right here. And for whatever reason, the operation and the consistency is just not there. And I think the finger needs to be pointed at George Warhop, Todd Monken, and John Harbaugh in that order. Karlaftis is dropping out here, so he's carrying this middle of the field vertical. Lamar is certainly looking to the top side, which is so crazy because there's so many plays where he's looking to the boundary, to Hopkins' side. Hopkins isn't on the field here, which I think is something to mention in terms of where Lamar is looking initially post-snap. So he's looking up there. There's heavy pressure. Basically, they're overwhelming the left side of our offensive line. Lamar is able to get out of there, get the first down. I do have to mention, how can you not enjoy the effort that this guy gives on this play? We're talking about Tranquil. He's lined up into the boundary to the right side of the Chiefs defense. And then he's one of the blitzers who ends up kind of tangled up with, I think, Linderbaum and then Falele. Has the speed and the effort, the pursuit to get all the way over to the sideline. And I was wondering, I don't know about you, during the game, if they were going to measure or if they were going to say that we actually ended up short. I thought it was really close from the end zone angle. I don't think Ronnie Stanley really should have been out on this field. To me, he looks like he's dragging that right foot a lot. You kind of get a little bit of a sense of it here. No push off at all. Everything seems to be left foot and left hip oriented. I don't know if, he suffered an injury, during the game at all. But I love the overload blitz from the Chiefs' perspective. Give them credit what they were doing. They were showing things on one side and then bringing pressure from the other. Stuff that we have prided ourselves on defensively for years, trying to overwhelm us at critical points. Most of their blitzes went through a gap and, in my opinion, try to take advantage of one or both of our guards. I thought that conversion could potentially hold the Chiefs off from some of their heavy blitz structures, but to no avail. They continued to show one look and then play another. This is after a short run by Henry. It's a 2nd and 6. We're still up 7-3, like I said, during the lead-in. And they call Rosengarten for being off. Do I want this called? Yes, I do. But I want it called on Juwan Taylor, too. I want it called on any offensive lineman that is doing these things. Did Rosengarten adjust his stance during the game? Maybe slightly. It's not really readily discernible from the all-22 angle. Lamar definitely was trying to get the ball to Hopkins in this game, and you can't blame him for some of the things that you've seen Hopkins do early in the season. It's a great catch over top of McDuffie here. Unfortunately, it doesn't count. Would have been a 17-yard gain. Am I complaining about the refs? Well, I would like to see consistency. And Juwan Taylor's been doing this stuff for 2+ years. It's all over social media. People are not wrong for talking about Juwan Taylor getting away with this, and for whatever reason, other offensive linemen do not. I saw a ref after the play go up to Rosengarten and have the gall to tap him on his shoulder, almost like a pick-me-up. I was shocked by it. But is he back further than Stanley? Yes, I believe so. 3 to 4 inches. I don't remember it being called on the Chiefs at all. Here's an example of Lamar looking one way and the running back pass pro in the opposite direction, actually kind of holding up for a moment. I think the pass protection is what you would look for here. Now, the thing is, the ball is out in under 2 seconds. It's not feasible to do that on every single play. Every route combination isn't going to be that is a quick game. In this case, the referee called a penalty on Rosengarten. So we just have a lot of operation from an offensive standpoint that's self-destructed here in the second quarter. We did actually get the ball down to the 32, so we're in field goal range or approaching it, depending on your perspective. And we've got a 1st and 10. This is after a big completion to Flowers where he got basically body slammed by one of their safeties. This is a 1st and 10, and the Chiefs are in 3rd down mode. This should tell you exactly what they think of our offensive line. This could be a run play. This could be pin-pull pitch, for example. Depending on who the receiver is, pin and down. This could be a run concept, and the Chiefs are really getting their inside linebackers out of position to defend it, but they're operating on the assumption that we're throwing the football, and they were right. It's a double inside linebacker blitz. This is, of course, the interception where Lamar throws it to Andrews. I disagree with people saying that, we can't get the ball to Likely. We certainly could get the ball to Likely down here. Lamar seems to be looking in that direction, but again, I think he's focused on Hopkins to the boundary, and, for whatever reason, chose not to get the football out there, and he's throwing it to Andrews. This is a bad decision from the standpoint of Lamar had a moment to look down there to the bottom side. Maybe he just didn't see Likely. It's entirely possible with so many bodies in the way, and it's obviously a poor throw. It's under the rim, if you will. I think that one needs to be thrown up high such that your tight end can go ahead and go get it. The first part of this blitz is Tranquil, who continues to be a thorn in our side, if you ask me, and he's going to go underneath the running back in pass pro, and then Bolton is going to overlap or fold over the top. They basically clear out the A-gaps because Linderbaum steps to the nose tackle. Voorhees steps out here, so you got this wide open lane in the middle for Henry. It's a 2-on-1 between Henry and the 2 inside linebackers, but if you want to count Linderbaum and Henry together, it's really a 3-on-2. The Chiefs should get some pressure here, and lo and behold, they do. Bolton is free up the middle. It's a great play by Chenal, right? He deserves all the credit, and the Chiefs do, for designing the pressure scheme and having it come to fruition. I think the Ravens could do better from a pass pro standpoint. That almost seemed like a 14-point swing in a weird way. Am I saying that we were going to go down and get a touchdown? Well, we scored on the first possession. I feel like with better play calling on 1st and 10, Spagnuolo and the Chiefs apparently knew that we were operating in spread throw the football mode by bringing what I would consider a 3rd down blitz on 1st and 10. The Chiefs are able to get a field goal to get within 7-6, and we'll pick up on the 3rd possession. Henry's 11-yard run here, I really like it. It's against a 4-3 structure for the Chiefs, 2 high safeties, and the tight end is leading the way. Off tackle, we've got Kolar, and now Noteboom is in at left tackle. I think it's pretty obvious that Stanley was really struggling. At least the Ravens coaches picked up on it and got him out of there before he suffered, a series or further injuries. Things really go crazy here after this one. I'm not sure why or how to explain that to you, but so many things go wrong. Let's talk about this play for one more second. Could we run the ball more with Henry? Of course I would advocate for that, right? I'm sure that most of you would as well. Safeguard Lamar as much as possible. Allow the offensive line to get out on people. When Lamar and then the tight end and Henry make this sign, for whatever reason, the Chiefs think that the ball is going to go to this side, and they end up being wrong. I would have loved to see us, from a Linderbaum perspective, be able to go get this Mike linebacker. I'm talking about 32. So Linderbaum actually will step in this direction to the D tackle, possibly looking for Tranquil if Tranquil blitzes or goes through the A-gap, and then he'll try to go and cut off Bolton. He's just unable to get it done. As an aside, you cannot talk about this if you're trying to be serious about analyzing the game. We are not capable and competent at our guard positions, and people have been talking about this since the draft. They've been talking about this since 2024. How much more visual evidence do people need? We've got to be able to stay on our feet consistently, at least to give us an opportunity to try to move up to the second level. Kolar and Noteboom did a really good job, but they were kind of handed that one, to be honest with you, with the D end in a 7 technique. That means inside shade of the tight end. Pretty simple as far as our ability to get the edge or run off tackle there with Henry on a lead outside zone. Things go haywire here, and I do have an explanation for the second delay of game penalty, but our operations got to be way better, obviously. So we were able to get that first down with Henry, and now it's a 1st and 10. And I thought, okay, here comes some option. Great. This is what I want to see. I want to see us run diamond counter option because that's beat the Chiefs for years. And Lamar is just taking way too long to get this done. I don't know why no one has any awareness of the fact that we're running out of time, but we are, and we give up 5 yards. In my opinion, what I think this is, my guess, is that since we're in diamond option, it's a directional call, meaning with the run either going to our left, the top side of the screen, or the run going to our right, and meaning the concept is called, and then it's just Lamar's job to get the look that we want. So where do we want to run the ball, either to our right or to our left? We just took too dang long to get it done. All right, so we had a screen to Henry. After that, created a 2nd and 5. And I think this is, we're trying to get the ball to Hopkins down here, probably a check X route where, maybe Lamar and Hopkins haven't had enough reps together or whatever. Hopkins is looking in here, and when you get the end zone angle, you'll see Lamar puts one finger down late. It just takes way too long to get this done. There's got to be a better way from an operation standpoint to get communication between the quarterback and the X about what we want to run based upon the coverage. And we'll give the end zone angle, like I said, so you can kind of confirm what I'm saying. Another delay of game, super frustrating as a fan, if you ask me. So we'll see Justice Hill flip sides. Lamar flips his side and then looks out to his right, our left, and that's where Hopkins is located. And then starts to give him some signals, a fist, and then a 1. And so obviously he's signaling the route to those guys. You can do physical signals. You can do words, right? You can do dummy words sometimes that really mean nothing for everyone else, but only mean something for the X. And you can do words specific to a player. So like Lamar and Hopkins could have a certain set of words, and then Lamar and Bateman could have a different set of words. That way the defense hears different words depending on who's on the field. Whatever the situation or the way the Ravens want to get it done, it's got to be improved. Bolton was pissed off because he didn't think they were going to call it. 2 delay of game penalties while you're up 7-6 in the second quarter. I just can't fathom how Todd Monken, John Harbaugh, and anyone is going to explain this to other people that this is the team that they're in charge of. All right, so another situation where pressure mounts on us. Very next play, 2nd and 10, too high safety look. And they're in their 3-3 look, they being the Chiefs. So they got 3 inside linebackers on the field, Tranquil, Bolton, and Chenal, super versatile guys. They blitz Bolton, but drop Chenal and Tranquil out. Yes, it's popular to talk about Justice Hill missing this block. Of course we want him to pick up this block, right? But in my opinion, he's looking out. I think he's looking for B-gap, rush, and I think Falele's got strong side A-gap. We'll give you the end zone angle so that you can check it out for yourself. And you're welcome to let me know what you think. Whether it's Falele, whether it's Hill, I don't care. Someone's got to be better at handling it. This isn't Lamar's job. This isn't Lamar's job. What's wrong with Lamar Jackson? He's got a shitty offensive line that is incapable of doing pass pro consistently. Jones is not trying to rush. Jones is just trying to occupy 2 players. I don't think when the Chiefs drew this up, they had any idea that they'd be able to attract 3. There is no reason for Falele to not be able to adjust here to this. I think that Hill has B-gap, but the lack of awareness by Falele, if you're telling me that this is a guy who's a Pro Bowl player, that he can only play on the specific tracks that are drawn up for him and cannot adjust at all to what is being offered, what's being shown on the field, that's not good enough. That's not good enough for him. It's not good enough for Voorhees, Justice Hill. Lamar Jackson's problem is this O-line. Lamar Jackson's problem is our inability to get things blocked consistently. Did Lamar have mental breakdowns in the second quarter? Absolutely. Make poor decisions? For sure. That was one of them, right? Throwing the football out of there. Yeah, you got to throw the football out of bounds. I was going to show you guys one of the touchdowns, but I was so frustrated watching the defense that I decided against it. Let's move to the 4th possession. It'll be the last one that I show you. You're more than welcome to have a different opinion than me, but we do not have a high-level offensive line, not even close to it. I find it really funny that people up until a week or 2 ago were still talking about the Ravens having one of the better offensive lines in the league, and we now have 15 sacks for our starting quarterback through 4 games. So Chiefs are up 13-7 after a really easy touchdown. And 3-3 look for Kansas City on a 1st and 10. It's almost like they know we're passing. Maybe it's related to who we have at running back there. It's a nice play, I think, by Tranquil. I believe Tranquil probably tips this football. Talking about, right here, he's blitzing off the edge. The first time I saw this live when Lamar threw it, I was like, what is that? That looks low. And now watching it, I'm like, okay, it makes sense. They were very active. It's the second week in a row that the other team's defense has been super active and hostile and agile against us, and our defense doesn't match that at all. Like I said, 3-3 look, two of them dropping out, one of them blitzing. It seems to me, watching it now, to be, I don't want to say predictable because it was a different player every play, but it's two guys dropping out from a 3-3 look and one of them blitzing. That seems to be the MO. Oftentimes, looking at this, at least today on Monday, I have no idea what the Ravens coaches do during the game, but I do know this: we're not attacking at all. We're just reacting to what the Chiefs' defense did, and we're oftentimes, reacting poorly. And like I said a couple of times earlier, you do have to give the Chiefs credit for being really active, quick to the football, getting their hands up to knock passes down, all things that we're not doing at all right now on the defensive side of the ball. So after the incompletion of Justice Hill, we got a 2nd and 10, and they're going to drop out into a zone. Zay's route is going to get totally shut off, and I think Lamar initially starts to look down here to the bottom side of the field for a moment. I don't know about you guys, but for me, I would prefer not to leave Chris Jones unblocked on screens. He's got such a massive frame and wingspan. To me, this type of thing seems somewhat predictable. I don't know, who to attribute it to. I'm not blaming anyone specifically on this play. We're trying to set up a screen to Henry that just worked, earlier in the second quarter, so I understand that. I just feel like there's certain players in the game that you don't want to just leave unblocked and give them a free run to your quarterback, and Chris Jones, is probably one of them. Sets us back, obviously, into a 3rd and 10. And the Chiefs give this, really heavy mug look to Lamar. And then, of course, drop out into a 2-deep structure. So here's the 2-deep structure post-snap, the way that it works out. They blitz McDuffie, who was kind of lined up as a nickel DB. Like I said, they blitz McDuffie, who was kind of lined up as a nickel over top of Tylan Wallace. And for whatever reason, Lamar makes a great effort here, but I would certainly like to see us hit some of these checkdowns. We just don't seem to be getting through our progressions really quickly, and maybe it's because of the lack of time that he had against this Chiefs defense. Of course, we know we had more time last week against Detroit because they were using a different structure, a different platform to attack us from. So 3-3 look, there's your two inside linebackers dropping out, and you guys don't see them, but you will in a moment. Tranquil is off screen to our right. So from a 3-3 personnel look, same concept. Two guys dropping out. Actually, it's not Tranquil. My apologies. I got the wrong number. It's one of their nickel DBs, and it looks like Noteboom picks him up pretty good. We have two guys on Jones once again, who really doesn't appear to be rushing in this case. Great effort by Lamar to get 9 yards out of it. You know what's coming up. The 4th and 1. I'm not sure why we are constantly looking over here to Hopkins' side so much. Would I like to see him get more opportunities? Yes. We've got a lot of weapons, though. And not having the run game established, I think, puts us in these low percent situations. We're basically looking for the wheel to Justice Hill the second week in a row on a early 3rd down. We're trying to get the ball to the wheel. I get it. You've got man with Tranquil on Justice Hill. It just has not worked out for us against the higher level defenses. Anzalone and Tranquil are far better inside linebackers than some of the guys that this has worked against. If we're looking at the top side, and I'm not saying that's where Lamar should throw the ball right now because he's looking to the downside. I just don't know why we're constantly looking to the boundary on these critical 3rd downs. I said critical 3rd downs. This is 4th and 1. And I would prefer if we were looking to the field because the safety is from the other side, rotating all the way over. Much better opportunity for us. Easy to second guess Lamar on that one. I do wonder about, throwing the football away here on a 4th and 1. He takes a huge shot. Let's look at the end zone angle just so you can see how that happens. This does not surprise me. I'm not attributing this to Linderbaum or Falele. I've got, no idea on the pass pro. It certainly looks like 6 guys blitzing against 5. That math doesn't work, right? At least not in our favor. What I will say is it's happening often in the A-gaps. Teams are bringing these pressures in the A-gaps. And so I think that means they're looking at the film and they're seeing, hey, we can get after these guys. Our operation stinks. Lamar doesn't trust them. No one can block 6-on-5, right? The ball's got to be out when that happens. And I think Lamar needed to look to the top side, the field side here. Two things can be true. Lamar had some decision-making problems in this game. Admit to it, okay? Move on. He's got to get better. I think he will. I don't know if the offensive line will get better. I'm not sure that they can get better. I don't know how it's not clear to everyone that it's a huge factor that our offensive line, number one, has an inability to block things consistently in the run game. And number two, this is the second week in a row, and I would say 3 out of the first 4 games where teams have looked at our pass pro, looked at our players, our personnel up there, and attacked in certain locations. And I think the stress points are Voorhees and Falele. Falele and Voorhees sounds like a bad movie or a bad music duo. My point is, teams get the film, they watch it, and they go, look what the Chiefs did. Look what the Bills did in some of these critical situations. Look what the Lions did. We can bring 3 or 4 pressures, and the Ravens' offensive line, will never pick it up. It's not on Lamar to block Bolton. Maybe Lamar needs to be part of the pass pro operation. I didn't see a ton of communication from the offensive line. I didn't see a ton of guys pointing. It looked to me like they were confused. It looked to me like they were confused by what the Chiefs were bringing. Warhop is the ringleader of this offensive line. He's the position coach, and unless or until something changes there, we're in deep trouble. The focus could become more so on running the football. I get it. If we're going to roll into the Texans game next week and we're going to play spread football like you just kind of saw in the second quarter, we're in trouble. The Texans' D-line is a problem, even though they're only 1-3. They do have 11 sacks and 24 quarterback hits. We have 4 sacks. Somehow we're credited with 21 quarterback hits. My guess is that half of those are in the Browns game, which really has the worst offense in the NFL. I track offensive efficiency. I'm trying to reveal some of that data this week because I feel like we've got a large collection of data at this point. And the Browns are one of the worst in the NFL. Their TOR ranking, their efficiency ranking was a 0 against the Lions. It was really poor against the Ravens as well, I think a 49. We have real problems on the offensive line. I am not as concerned with Lamar Jackson. I do feel like footwork started to become an issue a little bit last week against the Lions. Maybe second, third quarter around there. I thought I saw 3 times where I didn't like it, but I'm not an expert. And other people who are, far better quarterback analysts than me, you should trust their opinion over mine in that regard. It doesn't surprise me that his technique and the things that he should be doing is being altered radically in the last week plus. Last 5 quarters that we've seen him play football. The second half against Detroit and the first 3 quarters against the Chiefs here on Sunday. A poor performance overall by the offensive line in the offense in the second quarter, I think spearheaded by the offensive line. Can we fix Lamar Jackson? We don't need to. Can we fix this offensive line? I don't think so. I don't know that they have requisite talent, and I don't know that the guy who's in charge of that group is capable of fixing it, and nor is Harbaugh. I hate to be so negative with you guys, but what are we doing? We had the same problems 1 year ago, right at this time. We were 0-2. Yes, I know we won the next 2 games. We played bad football teams in at least in week 3 against the Cowboys. Week 4, yes, we did beat the Bills at home, and I know they're a much better football team than Dallas is, but from a run defense standpoint, they were not ready for what we could offer. I don't know where that offensive line has gone. Things look radically different to me, and I think opposing NFL defenses, their staffs, are looking at this film and saying, all we got to do is stop the run for a couple of possessions. As soon as we have 1 more point on the scoreboard than they do, or in the case of the Chiefs, 13-7, 6 more points, Todd Monken will change his stripes, and we can get after this quarterback and cause chaos in his mind and for the offensive line who can't pick it up. That's what I think right now. It sucks to say that to you guys, to be honest with you, but unfortunately, that's where we are with this offensive line. I think a lot of people have been screaming about it for months or a year in certain cases. You guys are welcome to let me know what you think in the comment section of this video and the overall tone of what I'm talking about with the offensive line. I think it's Lamar Jackson's biggest problem.